another people, and thy eyes shall look and fail with longing for them all the day long. And there shall be no might in thine hand.
And you wouldn't have any power to get your children back. That fits us, correct? Now, what our role was originally supposed to be? So who are we according to what God says? That's what we are here to teach you. So the Bible states that there are going to be a group of people. Give me Deuteronomy 1:1. There was going to be a group of people that were taught. Watch the camera. There was a group of people that was going to be taught by Moses, right? Watch this.
The book of Deuteronomy chapter 1 and verse 1. These be the words which Moses spake unto all Israel.
All Israel. So Moses is speaking to who? He's speaking to Israel. Now, Moses told Israel there was going to be certain prophecies and things that were going to happen to all Israel. Not all African Americans, not all Muslims, or whatever the case may be. It's going to be all Israel, right? Give me Deuteronomy chapter 1 and verse 1. I want y'all to hear this. 28 and 1. Because Moses was speaking to all Israel, and all Israel was supposed to rule the planet. Right? These are the people that came out with Moses. Watch this.
The book of Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 1. And it shall come to pass, and thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
So what does hearken mean? Do y'all know? Hearken means to hear. So he's saying if you would hear the voice of the Lord thy God, watch this,
to observe and to do all his commandments.
So we're supposed to observe and to do. These people are supposed to observe and do all his commandments. Read.
Which I command thee this day, that the Lord thy God will set thee on high above all nations of the earth.
So there was a group of people that was supposed to be above all nations on the earth. Right? So pay attention. So now, who's above all nations on the earth right now? Who do y'all think? No, I'm talking about a nation of people. Would you say the so-called white man's above everybody? He is, right? So let's see if he's Israel, because the commandment says that if you obey my voice, I'm going to put you above all people. Now, there's a flip side to that coin. People are going to get you the flip side if you didn't obey. Now, watch this.
Verse 15. But it shall come to pass, and thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
So hearken means to what? To hear. If you will not hear the voice of the Lord thy God, read.
To observe, to do all his commandments, in his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses.
All these what?
All these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
So now, a certain group of people, God says, that if you disobey me, I'm going to put curses on you, right? Well, that's what you're going to have to suffer, the curses, right? So now, let's see who these curses fit. Because remember in verse 1, they were supposed to be where? Above. But if they disobedient, they were going to be what? Cursed, right? Let's see who these curses fit. So we'll know who the prophecies were going to fit if these people obeyed the commandments.
That's right.
Give me verse 16. Watch this.
Verse 16. Cursed shall thou be in the city.
So God says, well, your disobedience, you're going to be cursed in the city. So now I want you to think about it. Who lives in the worst parts of the city? Black people, right? Blacks and Hispanics. Watch this.
And cursed shall thou be in the field.
And you will be cursed in the field. Who is cursed in the field? Picking cotton and slavery, right? Cursed shall thou be in the field. So who did this fit? It's us, fellas. Watch this. Read verse, give me verse 32. Watch this.
Verse 32. Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people.
God says for your disobedience, your sons and daughters will be given unto another race of people. Right? Who was given into another race of people? Black people, right? Read.
Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given into another people, and thine eyes shall look and fail with longing for them all the day long.
So you ever seen Roots of 12 Years a Slave? You see how when their daughters were taken away from them, or their children, they cried and they couldn't get their children back? That's what this Bible verse is saying. Read it again.
Another people, and thy eyes shall look and fail with longing for them all the day long. And there shall be no might in thine hand.
And you wouldn't have any power to get your children back. That fits us, correct? Now, what our role was originally supposed to be? We were supposed to be above all people, but what did we do? We disobeyed God. Y'all some smart brothers, man. I like y'all. I like y'all because y'all catching it right away. Give me verse 48. Because those are the curses that were going to befall the children of Israel. Watch this.
Verse 48. Therefore shall thy serve thy enemies.
Because you don't want to serve me, God said you're going to have to serve your enemies, right? Let's see who your enemies are. Watch this.
Which the Lord shall send against thee.
So who sent those enemies against us? God sends those enemies against us. Watch this.
In hunger.
And hunger. So when we want food, who do we go get food from? Well, who owns Harris Teeter? Who owns Walmart? Do we own it? Who owns it? The so-called white people. And God said they will, what will he call them in the beginning of that verse? Your what? He would call them your enemy. Y'all getting it. I'm telling y'all some smart brothers. Read.
And in thirst.
So when we want water, who do we go get water from? We want to go in that store and buy water. Who owns it? There you go. And if we, our water bill, who do we pay it to? We pay it to so-called white man. So God calls him your enemy. He says you're going to have to serve your enemy for food and for water. Watch this.
And in nakedness.
And in nakedness. The clothing on our back. Who do we get it from? Same people, same enemy. Read.
And in the want of all things.
So anything you want, you're going to have to get it from your enemy. Because I asked y'all, what did they teach you? Your nationality was, you said African American. Who told us we were African Americans? The so-called white man called us that. He named us that. Jesse Jackson actually coined the term for us to name us African Americans. He didn't want them to call us something else. But our nationality has been changed. But remember what God calls us in Deuteronomy 1:1. What did he call us? What was our name? Our name was Israel. Watch this. Y'all brothers getting it. Watch this.
And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck.
And your enemy is going to put a yoke of iron upon thy neck. See that? What's that on his neck? A yoke of iron. So who does this Bible fit? Does it fit the so-called white man or does it fit us? It fits us. That's what we out here to edify people and show them what we do. Now I'm gonna get one more prophecy so you'll understand who we are. Now, how did we get over here as a nation of people? They brought us on boats. Would you agree? Yeah. Let's see if that's in the Bible. Watch this.
Verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again.
So God says, I was going to bring you in Egypt. Remember what we did when we were in Egypt. What were we in Egypt? We came out of Egypt. We were what? In captivity, right? We were slaves. So God is saying, I'm going to bring you back into Egypt. Give me that one time. Watch this. We're going to show you what Egypt means. We're going to let the Bible define itself. Watch this.
The book of Exodus chapter 20 and verse 2. I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage.
So Egypt means the house of bondage. So God says that y'all was going to bring you into the house of bondage, right? Let's go back to 68. Watch this. House of bondage and slavery, right?
The book of Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again.
So Egypt means what? Bondage, house of bondage, or slavery. Read.
With ships.
With what?
With ships.
So God says that you were going to go into slavery on cargo slave ships. You see these slave routes right here? See, we came from Africa and we went all over the earth here. All on cargo slave ships. That's Bible prophecy. That's right. That Moses said was going to happen to who? The children of Israel. Remember that. Read.
By the way whereof I spake unto thee.
Just the way Moses told us it was going to happen. Didn't it happen that way? Right? Read.
Thou shalt see it no more again.
Read.
And there,
once you get off of those slave ships, let's see what's going to happen.
Ye shall be sold unto your enemies.
You're going to be what?
Sold unto your enemies.
Well, we sold unto our enemies. Look at this picture right here. See this buck right here? They call him a buck. Look at him. Strong. Same thing they do in the NFL. What do they do today in the NFL? Don't they line you up, make you stretch your arms out, see how tall you are, measure you, make you see how high you can jump? It's no different. How fast you can run, how high you can jump, how many weights you can lift, how many times can you pump 250 pounds at one time? You get what I'm saying? It's the same thing. Those are called high-paid slaves today. But they were still slaves because the white man is going to look at you and test you and then buy you. That's what he's doing. He might give you $1 million or $2 million now in slavery, right? Well, I mean, in the NFL. But back then, he just bought you for whatever the cost was. He was a big buck. I'll give you $45 for that big buck right there. You get what I'm saying? Read.
For bondmen,
For slave men,
and bondwomen,
and for slave women. Read.
and no man shall buy you.
And no man was going to get you out of that condition. So now, what was the key to this whole thing? Hey, tell the brother to come on up. What was the key to the whole thing? The whole thing was that we broke God's commandments. You remember that? So how do we get out of this condition? Jay and... You're Jaden. Jaden, okay. All right. Hey, come on up, brother. My name's Ophelia. What's your name? Tatum. My name's Ophelia. All right. This is Jaden and Nahshon. All right. So what we're teaching here is that the black people is stuck here in America went into slavery on slave ships, right? And those were actually the children of Israel. Those were God's chosen people. And those prophecies that Moses spoke to us long ago, if you read the Bible, all these prophecies fit us, right? So now, what's the key for us to get out of this condition? If we went into slavery, right, for breaking God's commandment, what's the key?
Repent, turn back to the Most High.
Say that again.
Repent and turn back to the Most High.
Would y'all agree with that? So we have to repent. So guess what we have to do? We have to know the laws of God, right? So one of the laws that we break today is, what is the Sabbath day? It's what? Saturday is Sabbath day. Would y'all agree on that? All right. So now, Sabbath day is Saturday. It's not Sunday. We've been taught that in Christianity. We were taught that in this while we were in chains. We were taught that Jesus is white, God is love, love is love, and y'all niggas stay at the bottom. That's what we were taught. But the Bible didn't say that. God says that we're at the bottom for our disobedience. And one of the days we have to keep is Saturday. So now we're going to show you some commandments. So y'all know anything that you have to do on Saturdays? Sure. Because keeping the Sabbath is more than just saying, hey, it's the Sabbath. You have to follow certain rules to follow that Sabbath.
Bring it out, bring
right?
it out.
Watch this. Give me Exodus chapter 20 and verse, watch this.
The book of Exodus, chapter 20 and verse 8. Remember the seventh day to keep it holy.
Why would God tell us to remember the Sabbath?
Because that's they did,
Yeah. Oh, no. Well, no, not really. But that's a different topic. But He told us to remember because we were going to forget. Because I grew up, and guess what I did on every Saturday? My mom had me doing cutting the grass. I was waxing the furniture, vacuuming. I was working. I was doing servile. It wasn't servile work, but I was doing that work. I should have been resting on that day. And guess what we did on Sunday? We went to church. You see what I'm saying? That was the problem. That's one of the commandments that we broke. But I'm not blaming my mom. She didn't know any better. But now the prophecies are coming to pass. We know better, so we got to do better. That's what we're trying to teach you. Read it again.
Remember the seventh day to keep it holy.
Read.
6 days shall thou labor and do all thy work.
So 6 days you can labor and do all your work. From Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, right before the sun goes down, you do all your work. 6 days you labor and do all your work. Read.
But the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord, thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates.
So you weren't supposed to do any work on that day. From Friday sundown to Saturday sundown, we got away from it, right?
What is a nation? Nation is family. Nation is community. Nation is men leading by example. Nation is women's support. Nation is children with role models. Nation is unity. Nation